Modern Times came about as an idea about 3 years ago. We noticed that Long Island, it's just such a dead place. And everybody goes into the city, whether it's for like movies, shows, even politics, books, anything. You know, we grew up here, we noticed that there's no place where any young people, or anyone for that matter, can convene. You know how it is, it's parking lots, it's like malls, that's it. And we decided that it would be cool if we could connect the activist groups that did exist on Long Island. We thought maybe we'd do a little networking with the people we knew within, you know, with the hardcore and punk scene, and get together and form some kind of organization that would bring these groups together.
We're going to a Republican convention. Those are the parents, they're Republican. This is the protesters, and you have to convince your parents that you gotta convince your parents that you're gonna go to this demonstration, and they definitely don't want you to go. So, we're gonna count to 3, we're gonna get started. You have to argue with them, convince them, and you gotta just make sure they're not killing them by any means necessary. Yeah, let's go. 1, 2, 3.
Can I go to this convention? It's kind of a protest, but
Dad, I'm going.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
My parents are really conservative. I was raised in a very conservative Republican environment, and they kind of had an idea what I was doing, but I have to say they were really good. I mean, I remember one meeting we had, it was like one of the most important meetings. There must have been like 30 people in my basement. You know, my parents were just opening the doors to strangers coming in who wanted to be in my basement, the Long Island Voice, and, you know, brought the cameraman in. I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna kill me.
Okay, so one leg behind. But we didn't.
What do we give
Okay,
verbals?
we give a verbal. Okay, we're gonna sit down, leg behind. Just watch. Just watch. Okay, Connor, ready? Are we ready?
Yes.
Are we ready? Leg behind and sit.
You did it anyway. You weren't supposed to do it.
We're kicking and punching and attacking Steve. What are you gonna do as a group? Come on, hum.
How do we get the media attention?
And then point at Steve. So we're attacking Steve, and as a group, towards Steve. Well, you're not ohming and pointing.
big, loud, obnoxiously, the pain. It's quite horrible.
Okay, very good.
It turned out that there was a Modern Times community, not only based upon free love, but I'd say an anarchist-based, a socialist utopian community. Of course, you could expect my absolute shock and horror that something radical would ever happen on Long Island. As the Civil War was coming about, a lot of these communities were dissolving. The Long Island Railroad destroyed this community. They sent a rail line and a stop right past the community. New York City folks would come out and gawk at this and laugh at their octagon-shaped buildings and their idea of real freedom. And it was an interesting thing to kind of put that name, I think, back on the map here on Long Island, to bring that name back to kind of resuscitate that history.
Okay, we're gonna take that tree, right? That's our fucking tree.
We're Earth first.
We're Earth first, that's our tree. And the general idea is that we're all locked down with these carabiners, basically. I should probably explain these. And you can see, it easily moves back and forth. This is a lockdown tube. It's inserted a metal pole on the inside. Basically what you do is you take this, you reach inside, you lock to the pole, and you connect to another individual. So we're gonna take the tree.
No one wanted a group of punked out anarchist kids between the ages of 15 and 20 to, you know, they didn't want to assist them in organizing their own group. They were more than welcome to have us join their ranks and sign up and, you know, pledge allegiance or, you know, sign up for their party. But they never really wanted to help us form our own independent organization under our own guise.
I want to get a couple of people over here to help us hold these things up. They're a little heavy.
That kind of fending for ourselves really developed a really nice anti-authoritarian and our own perspective, I think, that didn't exist here on Long Island.
Sometimes we'll leave people.
May 6th was everything. It was surrealist art in action. It was, you know, a protest against globalization. We had all been to Washington before that, and we were just so pumped with that energy that we wanted to bring it home, kind of leave it on Long Island to simmer.
We were going to have it a two-part thing, a critical mass and a march, you know, from the railroad station in Huntington down into the main part of town. And the cops had been tipped, and that made us a little nervous. Kevin was getting calls a couple of days before, and I said, well, let's just be cool and do it and act like nothing strange is going to happen, because we had distributed a heck of a lot of flyers and stuff. So people knew that something was going on, but they didn't have exactly an idea of what. So bike cops showed up on that day. It was a beautiful day of Saturday, May 6th, and they came up to us and, hey, what's going on? I said, you know, we're going to ride around and we're going to go on a little march, and, you know, it's going to be fun. And so, all right, everybody's cool. The cops were with us, but it wasn't a heavy police presence.
Tripod is 3 pieces of scaffolding, about 25 feet tall, and you construct them in the formation of a teepee. There are, I think, 3 swivel clamps, or 2 or 3 swivel clamps that you can attach at the top. That's the essence of the tripod.
That somebody actually had the audacity to get out on the street and do this, I think kind of like perplexed people, you know, which I think it perplexed them in a good way, because it like made them wonder, you know, hey, maybe there's, you know, just maybe there is something out there other than just the usual garden variety of either shopping or whatever, you know, just something that they can't quite put their finger on, but something which vaguely may touch somebody in a way, you know. And of course you want to get a political message across to them. We tried that the best we could by handing out the papers and try to be political in all our statements to the media and whatnot. You know, we emphasize the ideas of globalization and the notion of that Reclaim the Streets is a global movement of not only, you know, festivity, but of resistance to capital.
I'm a friend of theirs. I support their action. I'm here as a legal observer to make sure that the police don't interfere with their civil rights and to help negotiate with the police. It looks like a very successful action because we've negotiated 45 minutes up on the pole with the police, and the young people are agreeable to that. So he'll be out there about another half hour, and he'll come down. Undoubtedly, he will get arrested. I think 4 or 5 young people have been arrested to this point, and they're being taken to the 2nd precinct here in Huntington.
Right now we're in the process of raising funds for the free space. We're scouting out an actual space for it somewhere in the Hicksville area where it's a central location that everyone can get to by train, by bus. I think it would be a really good idea to have a community center that's central in Long Island. We'd like to have a large book collection, anything from environmental to women's rights, women's issues, gay, lesbian, bi, trans issues, some fiction, nonfiction, philosophy. We'd love to have a space for performance art. Anyone who wants to, you know, even if it's just sitting there playing their guitar or juggling, I mean, it's open to them, and that's not something that is easily accessible in a community like this. It's so important that we do this, you know, and I mean, if I were like 14 and I mean, I remember, and it was just like, I had no hope in anything, and now if I saw people actually doing something, I'd be like, wow, you know, it's okay to want to change things.
One day you see this problem, it's right in front of your eyes. If you don't fix it right now, it will be on your mind. You work until you're hungry, you have to put it done. You ain't just for the rest, well, this is done before. I'm building it for life, for every children's day. It's pretty fucking simple.